Very good afternoon to everyone present here. I hope my voice is audible. Okay, I see a bunch of them who are still joining in. I hope my voice is audible. Okay, great. All right, I see a few confirmations on chat. Thank you all for your confirmation. So we will be starting off shortly. We're actually 10 minutes late, but nevertheless, we will just start in about 5 minutes. I'm just waiting for a few more of us to join in. Post that, we'll get started. So in the meantime, I'd like to quickly check with the audience that's present here if my voice is loud and clear again. I see a bunch of them have already confirmed, but just wanted to check. And okay, I see Mr. Uday, Ms. Rupa, Sandlet, and Mr. Srinivas. Okay, great. All right. Okay. So as we wait for a few more of them to join, I just want to know like what is it that you're expecting from today's session? Of course, the topic being mindset shift in organizational transformation. Well, what is it that you think will be discussed today? Is something that I'd like to know. Use the chat. You can throw in your inputs, and we'd like to know what is it that you're expecting. What is it that you think will be discussed in today's session? On a side note, our speaker is ready. She is backstage, and I will introduce her shortly, post which she will drive the session. So the chat is open for all of you. All of you, I'd like to see some inputs because this will in fact be an engaging session. Towards the end, we'll have a dedicated Q&A session as well. So the chat is open for you guys. Okay. Good. Good to see some inputs on the chat already. Mr. Prasad says changes happening in organization and how to face them. Okay, I'm starting a new gen AI startup, expecting to find novel insights that will help building my organization in the coming years. Okay, nice. And we have Mr. Srinivas. Organization landscape is ever changing due to competitions and recession scenarios. There is a need to shift organizational transformation to meet the challenges. Yep. Okay. Good to see some inputs already. Let's keep this going, guys. All right. We'll start in about 2 minutes. Audience, just a small note. I'd like to mention that as the session goes on, if you have any sort of queries, request you to use the Q&A tab that you should be able to see on top or bottom of your screen. And you can enter your query there, or you can also use the chat. I will keep track of them. We will be taking up all the queries towards the end of the session. All right. Without any further ado, let's get started. Once again, very good evening to everyone present here. So let's get started. I would like to introduce myself before we get started with the session. I'm Siddharth Nandakumar. I handle product marketing at WebSolve, and I will also be your moderator for the day. So as you know, we will be talking about organizational transformation. What is it that we will be expecting from today's session is something that we will find out as we go on. So before we get started and before I actually hand it over to the speaker, there's a quick 5 or 7-minute introduction that I'd like to do about the company that I represent and run you through what is it that we do to give you a fair idea of what the company represents. So let's move forward. I hope you're able to see my screen, guys. Just a quick yes or no would be helpful on chat. Hope my screen's visible. Okay, thank you. Great. So this is the timeline of WebSol. Um, we were in fact part of Wipro's IT business back in the days. So to give you a gist, the company was into peripherals division manufacturing. So what that essentially means is, take up printers for example, right? You have toners, cartridges, and other core significant components that enable a printer to work. So these are some of the peripherals that WebSol or Web Solutions was specialized in manufacturing. But over the years, the company decided to come out of Wipro, from Wipro itself, and it decided to become a separate entity, or in other words, a separate company. So we were termed by the name Wipro Peripherals for a long time, and then that changed into Web Solutions. And over the years, obviously, the printing business, which happens to be the bread and butter of Web Solutions, uh, did evolve over the years, but there was a strong need for more products and solutions to be included over time, right? Because the industry is evolving and there is obviously a demand for the company or the organization to evolve as well. Now, evolve and adapt, right? So in 2017, there was a digital workplace services suite that was also added, that is workflow automation. We also have a GSC solution. Now, more on that as I go forward. So this is something that was added in 2017, and in 2020, during COVID, the pandemic, there are multiple business units that combined into one under one name. And over the years, this has been happening. And in the most recent and radical change that the company has gone through is a complete rebrand exercise or a brand refresh. And now we are known by the name WebSol. So this is our brand name. And this is again due to the ever changing market trends. We had to adapt to various requirements. And uh, uh, we felt that a complete rebrand would honestly help a lot of things. And under the name WebSolve, we also have a revised suite of services by the name of FluidWorks. Now, more on that as we go forward. Now, these are some quick highlights about the company. We come with over 23 years of industry expertise. We have close to 563 enterprise customers. Now, this is on the enterprise end. We also have more than 2 lakh retail customers. We have presence on the retail end as well. We're present in over 2,500 locations. We also won the Company of the Year award by CIO Tech Outlook Review for our workflow automation solution. And a quick view of some of our core clients, as you can see. Now let's move forward. Now this is our FluidWorks suite. So we are known under the name of FluidWorks. Why Fluid? It's because we'd like to eventually evolve and tailor, scale up to the customer's requirement. So our solutions, our suite of services also do the same. Now, under FluidWorks, we have an umbrella of offerings by the same name, that is Fluid, but we have Fluid Pro, Fluid Print, Fluid Map, and then we have Fluid Train. Now, I will take about a minute to quickly explain what these things are. Now, under FluidWorks, as I explained, this is our workplace suite. So under this, we have Fluid Pro, which is our managed IT infrastructure services. Now, basically what we do is we will be able to enable an organization, their entire networking structure, the entire framework, your infrastructure in terms of servers, your Wi-Fi access points, and any other IT hardware is something that we can fully take care of. We also have a 24/7 NOC support, and we look at experience level agreements. So that's it on the Fluid Pro end. What is Fluid Print? This is our managed print services. As I mentioned, we work on a CAPEX OPEX model. And what we have here is we will charge you on a pay per print basis. So we deploy N number of printers based on a customer's requirement. We'll also monitor that, more on that. And we have a dedicated field sales executive who will be taking care of your uh, maintenance end. That is your toners, cartridges, and any uptime, downtime related issues is something that is taken care of. We're also number one in India on this part. Now, what is Fluid Map? Relating to Fluid Pro and Fluid Print, you have N number of IT assets, right, that have been deployed in your organization across various locations in India or even globally. How do you monitor and take care of this? This is where Fluid Map comes into picture. This is a simple IT asset management tool that is installed in your network, and this will enable the user or the admin in order to have a complete eagle's eye in order to see what is happening with these hardwares. And you can also monitor uptime, downtime, and what is the toner level, cartridge level in order to replace them. So that is Fluid Map. And lastly, we have Fluid Trail. What Fluid Trail? This is our workflow automation solution. This solution also translates to a simple document management solution for various departments. So I do not want to specifically classify a department. Now, this tends to various departments, and I'm sure our audience here is mostly HR based, right? So we have a solution that is a simple use case, which is straight away deployable for HR team, that is employee records management. So you can store your records in classified manners based on your organization requirements. And our workflow automations engine will also enable simple to complex process automations, to name a few, like your candidate onboarding, offboarding, appraisal management, and various other HR related activities that can be automated. So that's it on the enterprise end. As I mentioned, we also have a GSC solution. I will not talk a lot about it. And we also have presence on the retail end. So that's it on the introductory end. Now, before I go any further forward, I would like to mention that there will be no demo as such. It will purely be presentation oriented from our speaker. Let me launch a quick poll to just understand if any of you are interested in checking out a free demo of our solution. Now, we will obviously need to understand your requirement, and based on that, we'll be able to give you a free demo of our HR automation solution. Please understand that this will be done based on your time availability. So I will leave this poll on for the next 1 minute, and I will take it down. Thank you. Audience, please note that we have a bunch of offerings, but just to name a few, we have document management, employee records management, candidate onboarding, offboarding, appraisal management. This is something that we take care of. All right. Thank you all for your inputs. Let me end the poll right now. All right. So my team will reach out to the ones who've shown interest in the next 1 or 2 working days. Let's move forward. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker for the day, Ms. Navina Joy. A quick introduction about her. Ms. Navina Joy brings in over 15 years of experience extending to strategic HR, organizational culture building, policy making, and planning as her areas of expertise. Having held roles as HR manager in the past in various industry verticals, and at present, the AGM HR at Superon Swiss Technique India Limited, her experience adds immense value to those aspiring to make a difference in the HR field. This is, in fact, our third or fourth webinar with our speaker, Navina Joy. I take great pleasure in introducing her on yet another webinar with us. Ms. Navina, I'm sure the audience is looking forward to directly hearing from you. So I will take a stop here and I'll hand it over to you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. I think I'm visible to everybody and I am able to speak, and the voice is also audible.
Yeah, let's get a quick confirmation on the audience, ma'am, if that's okay with you. Yeah, the chat is already filling, so you're good to go, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. It's the time was 4 to 5, and I understand that everybody would be thinking that it's already 20 minutes past and the speaker is not here. But that's how the systems work, and that's how the topic of the discussion is how to manage all the time, and how to manage the human resource, and everything depends on all these things itself. So, as Siddharth said, that this is my third presentation with WebSol. And, my expertise has been with organizational culture, organization transformation, policy making, and change management. And I believe the audience over here is more interested into that, because HRs are always interested in, what is the next trend. Now we see majorly that in every department, whether it is finance, whether it is sales, marketing, or whether it is any kind of a design team or any of the departments, there are a lot of skills upgradation and there are so a lot of trainings that are happening. But in terms of HR, what exactly we need to choose and how can we enhance our skills? And how can and what kind of a trainings are required to to upskill ourselves, that is very important. So for us it is very important what to choose before even getting into okay, this will make us more better. So in my understanding, so it's almost like 15 years of experience in various organizations, understanding the mindset and understanding what exactly is leadership, what is the organizational culture. So all these things what I've understood is that it is very, very important to build up a mindset. And it is very important to upskill ourselves into leadership quality. And because of this leadership quality, maybe we have a better choice, better actions are there, and better words are also there. When we have a big team, when we have a huge understanding of everything, it will make us a right to choose. So that's what my whole presentation would be. So let's begin, and I would say that park your questions till the end. I want to answer all the questions, and but the only thing is just to manage the time, manage everything, and I want to tell experience, share my experience with everything. So just park all your questions till the end. I will answer everything. Okay, so when we talk about organizational culture, so we need to first understand what is organizational culture before even getting into it, before even stepping into what we need to understand and what we need to put it down. So, when we talk about a culture, the culture is nothing but the value system, the psychology and the experiences that an organization has to render. Okay. And when I say this organization, because when you enter into an organization, any of the organization, by the look and feel of it, we get to know that what kind of a value system this organization is following. So in India, we highly, talk about the Tata Group, and we talk about how this, Tata Group as a whole is, exhibiting their kind of values and culture in their employees or in their organization. So it is nothing how the environment or the work environment is. At the same time, when we say this, can we follow the same kind of values and same kind of culture in every organization? That is not possible because why is it so? It is only because we need to first understand what is the structure of an organization. What is my organization and how is it structured? Based on the structure of the organization, then only we can find out that what kind of a values can be put down or what kind of a policies can be formulated. Now, why I say this is again, every company has their own set of values. Now, when we talk about the different kind of structures, so first structural, I would say, is functional reporting structure. And when I talk about the functional reporting structure, it is almost, a lot of 60 to 70% of the organization follow the functional reporting structure. Now, this structure is nothing but a vertical hierarchy system, wherein there is one, boss or the managing director is there, or probably the highest rank is there, and he has decided on different departments. And every department will have a manager, and then the executives are there, and then the slow down, the normal hierarchy follows in each department. Now, this kind of a department is, or the structural, is very good. Why? Because every department will have a hierarchy system, so there will be an increased productivity to the same. But the disadvantage to this hierarchy would be because every person is involved, so every person will have a different decision making. So the decision making from top to bottom or to bottom to the upwards, it will be hindered all the time. So that kind of a system is there. Now, again, when I'm talking about advantages and disadvantages, don't think that, this is the only structure which is good or this or the other structure will be bad. Not at all. It totally depends how the structure or how the organization is moving. Okay, so when I'm talking about the what kind of again the structure is, again it is all about, because the small organization, as a very small organization, it goes to a small organization, then it becomes a middle organization, then it becomes a large organization. It totally depends on that kind of a structure. So coming to the next point, when we have a functional reporting, then we definitely have the second reporting structure, which is the divisional structure. Now, divisional is very different. We generally find this in the, mostly in the FMCG sector. Now, when I say FMCG sector, so the FMCG sector, what basically it says is there is only one, in North India, mostly we say it as a Lala company, or in Gujarat also we say it as a Lala company. Okay. Now, mostly, I'm not saying that every organization say, mostly we have a term used for it. Now, what does this divisional reporting structure says is that, you know, if the company has different divisions of product lines. So all these divisions will have different departments. So if you see the pictorial, Siddharth, can you help me with the divisional side?
Sure. Yeah.
So when we talk about the next slide, yeah, this one. So if you see the managing director, he has different tools: cosmetics, the footwear, and the medicines, the garments, and the skincare. Each department, each division will have all the departments of human resource, marketing, R&D, purchasing, the plant, the qualities, the probably the sales design department. All these, each division will have. Now, it will be easier for any of the organization to handle this. Why? Because the person is actually reporting to the managing director. The division head is reporting to the managing director. So it is, the different departments or the different division will not get to know what is happening in their division, in the other division. So it is very transparent. And plus, if I talk about any, if I talk about the cosmetic division, or if I talk about the footwear division, there is no conflict with each other there, so it will be transparent. But the disadvantage in this division would be that if there are independent goals of every division, okay, obviously there will be rivalries. And how will the MD handle that? Right? So this is one of the difficult, issue. The third structure that would we say is the matrix reporting. This is very simple, and this majorly is found in programs or the organizations where you have project based company or the project based. So if you see any of the small IT firms or a CA firm or any of the software firms, so what they have, there are project 1, project 2, project 3. They will have a few team in that project, and each person has their own role, and each person will be responsible for their respective project, and they all are managing their respective managers. So this is what these matrix kind of a structure works. Now they will work as in very collaborative, and communication will be very good, and all those things will be there. But the disadvantage over here is that how to calculate or how to measure their performance, how to upskill their performance, what is their basis. So HR will have a very difficult time to handle such kind of an organization, right? Fourth is the flat reporting structure. The flat reporting structure is nothing but what we get. The first one was functional, so it was a vertical hierarchy system. Now the flat reporting structure will have a horizontal hierarchy system. Usually it is like for the small organizations where there is hardly anybody who is involved. People are not there in the middle level management. There are top level and the executive level is there, and each person is responsible for some or the other work. The easiest would say good thing is that the manager will talk to the executives and these things will be handled. Now in such kind of a role, in an structure, so our role is not there. So when there is no the human resource involved, so why the human resource department is there? So it is only directly the the CEO or the head of the department who is directly managing the team, and they only need that kind of a organization. But this cannot happen in a large scale, large organization. In a large organization, this kind of a structure will not work. Okay, so as I discussed that these are the different types of organizational structure, and the reporting structure is there. Now the problem, I would not say problem, but the majorly what happens in different organization is that we tend to probably copy or probably duplicate certain policies and proper strategies based on certain understanding and experiences. But as an HR person, we need to be very much sure that what kind of a policies and strategies are we adopting to our organization. Okay. Now, the first, as I started with the presentation, I told that as a, the HR's major transformation, or the organization major transformation, depends on the leadership. How a leadership is behaving, or what kind of a leadership culture has to be followed. Now, why it is? Because it is the basic, or the culture that an organization follows, uh, is how the leader is performing and what the leader is actually talking. So the words, the actions, and plus the behavior of a leader, of any kind of a leader. So where it is not just about the CEO, but person who is representing the company. So for example, if I'm representing my company, Superansh West Technic, I'm probably a head of one of the department, but I am majorly for, a leader in my organization. So what kind of actions I am following, that depends on the culture. So the focus is nothing but how the leader is performing. Okay. So now what kind of a culture is observed these days? First of all, the very much culture that is followed is that in all the organization, maybe the top level of organization is following certain kind of strategies, certain kind of cultures and values. But breaking it down to the departments, if you see, there are major small culture that are following in the organization. And when I say small cultures, every boss will have a value, every business unit will have a value, which every manager will create their own cultures and values. It is a problem. Okay. It is, first of all, it is not synced to the organizational culture. It is not synced to the major leader. And when there are different cultures and values that are there, it will be a major problem. So a leader has to first identify what kind of a culture and values he has, and how it is has to be aligned to the company's values. This is very much important. The first shift has to be there to actually understand what is my. So it is the acceptance part. The acceptance part that this is my value, and the adaptability part that what is exactly that the culture is following. It should not be different, and he should not follow what he understands or what he experienced. Okay, there has to be a different, and there is no harm in changing ourselves depending on the cultures and values of the organization, because it has to be like that, right? But at the same time, when you see, if you majorly see the organization, okay, if you calculate all the attrition rates and understandings and reasons and everything, okay, majorly I'm talking about as a study, I'm saying that 78% of the attrition, or people leaving the organization, they say it is organizational. I mean, it is because of the culture and value. But actually, it is not because of the organizational culture. It is basically because of the small cultures that are existing in the organization, depending on their respective managers. So that has to be understood very much well. So I have done a study and a research, and I have worked in one of the organization based on that. And this is very clearly understood that, this has to be identified as a whole, because if when you are representing a company, it cannot be that your values should be different from the company, because at the end of the day, if the employee is leaving, the employee will definitely say the organization is not good, but actually the organization is really good. Okay, they want to follow certain things, but because of the small organization, the employee is leaving. Okay, one such thing, the effect that can be identified is the glass ceiling phenomena. Now, when I say the glass ceiling phenomena, I'm sure most of the people know about it. The term is used that there are certain leaders who wants to practice unfair or unwanted practices because of their attitude problem, because they want to prevent employees to get the best from the job. Okay, they want to stop their promotion, they want to stop the appraisal. And there is a saying, obviously, that the managers don't want their juniors to raise above the manager. But the concept should be, because my executive is following, or because my executive in the team is actually understanding and capable and everything, because they are growing, I'm also growing. That has to be the concept, right? The second, and in terms of employee attitude, how can we find out that the people are finding out that, okay, the employee attitude, or employee uh basically the actions, or basically they are demotivated, or they are not making them, we do not know how to enhance that, and have, we get to know how to understand that, they are demotivated about it. There are certain things that we can find out. So when we talk about the low motivation part, so there are certain actions that we can see. What are the actions? One such basic action is that the employee has himself quitted in his life. And now when I say quitted, is like there is no motivation to do any kind of a task. There is no motivation to move ahead. He is just stick to the 9 to 5 job and go. So we always talk it like that: go to work, come back home, go to work, come back home, go to work, come back home, go to work, come back home. Now, while I'm saying this, it is so boring, right? So the life of an employee is that boring. So go to work, come back home, go to work, come back home. That means he has no motivation in his life. He's just happy, and not just happy, but he's just content with 9 to 5. If you give any kind of a project, if you want to give any kind of a skills, if you want to give some training, he's not interested at all, right? So that kind of an attitude is there. Second is very famous these days, the moonlighting effect. Okay. Now, these are the terms that are used very famous right now. So the moonlighting is that you are doing a dual job. Okay. Now, dual job is integrity issue. But at the same time, when I say that I'm working for the company 9 to 5, and plus I am actually working after working hours, it is legal. I can do that, but it is not legal as well. You cannot do that, because the concentration will be who is paying me more, or probably an extra penny will not make any harm. But at the same time, when you do this, you cannot be a jack of all trades. You will harm yourself in everything. You cannot just work on concentrate on 2 things or 3 things. Multitasking is a profile that was happily accepted earlier, but not now. You need to concentrate on certain things. What is important for you, work hard on that, upskill yourself on that. That is very important. Okay, you need to justify yourself before justifying others. Third and major thing is the career cushioning part. Now, career cushioning says that, oh, I'm in a job may, there is nothing left in the job. Let me just find out what other options are there. What are other opportunities are there for me? They start looking for small businesses, opportunities outside the country or the city or anywhere else. So other than job, what are the other options that I can start earning? So the concentration is again diverted. So that kind of a, difference is also there. Fourth, but not the least, is the boomerang employees. When the person actually quits from a company and joins a company, but soon they realize that the last company was very good. So they start looking for an opportunity there. It's nothing but a major culture issues in the organization that is leading to their demotivation. Okay. Now, how can we find out that, how can a leader, or how can we find out that, okay, fine, this leadership quality can make sense? Okay, which is very, very important. The leadership quality comes from the culture part, as I have been saying. And the leaders or the management, okay, they are only creating, or they are supposed to create the values in the system. Now, why I say this is, there's a term called as monkey see, monkey do. Okay, so we are all monkeys, and our juniors are also monkey, our leaders are also monkey, we are also monkeys. So because we as leaders are doing certain things, the juniors look up to us. They also do certain things what we are doing. So it is just, duplicating things. So the culture follows. It flows from up to down. It was never down to up. It is always. So no matter what kind of experience people come at whatever level, okay, they all look up to the management. They all look up to the leaders. So always the flow has to be up to down, not from down to up. It has to follow from that. Okay. As a leader, okay, you build a team, you have a team, and you have certain people who are there who are working for you. So you need to make sure that you are an effective listener. You need to listen to them. And when I say that there has to be a listening skills, there can be conflicts, there can be change of understanding, there can be change of views, there can be difference of opinions. Anything can be there, but that doesn't mean that you are not a good listener, because a discussion can happen, and discussion can only happen when you hear, when you actually listen to the conversation. So that is much better than just denying to the fact that you are not allowed to speak. Okay. And the other characteristics will be of passion, integrity, and humility. You show your passion towards everything. The passion itself, the work passion itself, actually creates a lot of values. Integrity is how loyal you are to yourself before even coming to the organization point of view. You need to be loyal to yourself. If you're justifying yourself in terms of everything, then you are not loyal, right? Humility. Now, humility has other terms as well. Now, when I say humility, humility is also like, how if, for example, a salesperson, or for example, if I talk about any of the department, if I get a target of 5 lakh rupees, but I know my ability is to, achieve 10 lakh rupees, but I still stick to 5 lakh rupees. Why? Because the company has given me a target of 5 lakh. This is not humility. Humility says, I know my potential. I know what I can do. Okay. I know as a person what I can achieve. I myself move ahead, step forward, and talk about that what I can do and what I can achieve. It is beneficial for the organization, for yourself as well. Right? Then again, in terms of fitment and roles and responsibilities, now employee fitment and employee skills and everything. Again, when I talk about all these things, the team has to be built in a way that the employee fitment, the skills, the responsibilities, the roles has to be very clear. It has to be aligned with what what exactly you require in a department, how you want to build the team, how you want to enhance it, right? So this has to be there. And again, the right attitude brings the right action. If you have the straight attitude, if you have the straight understanding, the actions automatically comes in. You're not supposed to, or you don't have to, talk about it or give a justification about it. Very much important is, out of all these characteristics, it is very important to encourage teamwork. It is never an individual team. You might have a one person who is very favorite. You might have one person in the team who is like in favoring you. But if you encourage along with that person to the whole team, things are much faster and effective. As an HR person, even if, the department is very crucial of an organization, but still, if every department comes together and understand what exactly is the skill, what is the learnings, what is the fitment, what is the gap, where is the gap and everything, the training programs can be helpful. Okay. So there has to be, overall, if I have to say, there has to be a mindset shift in the organization. And when I say the mindset shift in an organization, the attitude has to be of empower, encourage, and upliftment. Now, how is it possible is, in the transformation, the first mindset shift has to be from an profit related oriented attitude. You need to be focusing on the purpose. What is the purpose of my understanding? What is the purpose of the organization? Right? Second most important is from hierarchies. Okay, this is the hierarchy, that is the hierarchy. You need to think that how to build a network of my own, because the network creates and works as a team. Third is from controlling. You need to empower everybody. From planning, okay, there are a lot of meetings. We all say okay, there are a lot of meetings and discussions and everything. But based on that, it is very good to have an experimentation more than the planning part. And gone are the days when, there is a privacy to everything. It has to be transparent. When things are really, really transparent and it is very much, discussed with the team, it becomes more effective. So as I say, the team effort is nothing but to empower, but to encourage and uplift. Now, again, when I'm talking about the team building part, okay, there's a tool called as the psycho safety matrix. Okay. Now, when I talk about the psycho safety matrix, it is nothing but we get to know the safety level or the probably the how the team is working. Okay. We get to know by this matrix only by understanding what kind of a team is it. So first kind of a team is the autocratic management style. Now, uh, this autocratic management style is, we'll see the team is team motivated. They have no, every time they have a low in confidence and they don't even talk much. They are all like, okay, I'm part of the team. Let the manager come, let the leader come and talk about it. We want to follow that. So there's only one person who is making all the decisions and there are followers. Okay. So that kind of a management style is there. Second is the participative management style. Now, the participative management style, they involve in, every person's feedback. It is discussion, it is adaptability, it is probably the transformation kind of a, thing that, you input, you experiment, then there will be discussions, there will be feedback, how many changes are there, how could, there will be encouraging, each member is participating towards it. Then there will be a high performing team. This kind of a team is very much confident. They will never leave the organization also because the every person is trusting each other and every person is very comfortable in talking because there is no judgment to any of the thoughts and the opinions. Then there comes a low performing teams. The low performing team has no engagement at all. They will be either, having no interest or they are like just for the sake of it, they are there. So that is that kind of a team we can actually see. Now, how to change that kind of a understanding is, so as a leader, you should understand one thing is there is a rule of 1%. Now, what is this rule of a 1%? If you actually work on yourself to be a better leader and add value to your skills 1%, then in a cumulative way, you are actually 37% better by the end of the month. So it is huge. Just calculate it in, months and in years. So you are actually working on yourself, right? Second, very much quality is patience, persistence, and perseverance. Very, very important qualities. Again, because without having such kind of a quality, there is no movement ahead. Third, and very important in terms of having the patience and having that kind of a mindset attitude is avoid complaint, blame, and being immoral to anybody. This definitely leads to very negative environment. Yeah, just blaming, just getting, talking illegal or any kind of immoral attitude to anybody. The situations are, we lose the situation from our hand, right? Because, as I said, the team is so much together that the monkey see, monkey do. If you are immoral to somebody, the person will be immoral to the other person. So easily when you look at a team, you will understand, oh, he belongs to that person's team. It is very, 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 you can actually experiment in the organization by looking at it, right? Another thing, no matter what your structure of your organization is, and no matter what kind of authority you have in talking or understanding or making decision, maybe you have, maybe you don't have, but at the same time, you cannot show your team that you cannot do anything, or probably you are not able to manage. But there are 2 3 things you can change in your words is that, like I've mentioned over here, I've definitely come back to you. I will check with the authority or the management and get back to you. It's a positive term that we can use, right? Last but not the least is the knowledge and skills. Upskilling yourself and gaining the knowledge and giving that, imparting those knowledge and skills to the team and to the organization will make you a leader. Because a leader's duty or responsibility is to first, teach yourself, which is very, very important, right? Adding to that is also a combination of a leadership quality is that there are two things. One is courage, which is goes with the humanness part of it. Okay.
Uh,
Courage. Yeah.
yeah, so, sorry for interrupting, ma'am. So I know I'm just going to the next slide, but is it okay if I can launch one poll quickly?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so audience, I'm going to launch one poll. Just let me know if you're able to see this on your screen. Okay, so we did speak about organizational values and things like that, right? So does your value match up to the team or organization's strategic objectives? I'll leave this poll on for the next 1 minute, and I have a couple more polls coming. I will do that after a couple more slides. Okay, and audience, request all of you to drop your queries if there's anything at the moment. Please use your chat and Q&A to drop in the queries. We will take them up post the session. Okay, can we have uh, okay, can we have 6 more responses before I close the poll? Okay, 5 more. So, ma'am, if you're able to see, looks like 75% of them say that yes, it does match up to the organization's objectives.
Good, Siddharth. We have a good audience then.
All right, audience, 4 more responses. 4 more. Okay. All right, I think I'll end the poll here and just share the results so that the rest of them can see. We see that 76% of them think that yes, my values does match up to the organization's objectives. Ms. Navina, any comments on this?
Which is a good thing. But when we are changing to an organization, when we are actually looking for an organization, we generally do, see that, okay, it is matching to our understanding of compensation, where it is actually good for our, what our understanding or how I want to grow in the company. So there are two, three things, but I just want to understand is we need to actually evaluate what exactly our values are. It is very important. So it is the market value that we are comparing, or is it like a self valuation that we want to do? So there is a difference between market value and the self evaluation. So today probably you can go back and reevaluate what exactly you are looking at as yourself, and then you can carry forward to the organization point of view. But otherwise, if both the things are matching, then well and good, congratulations, you are at the right place.
All right, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So, like I said, the leadership has two qualities, which is like courage with humanness. Now, when I say courage and humanness, so there are four, quadrants that are there. Now, what are these four quadrants that are talking about is, so there is high courage, low humanness, then low courage, low humanness, low courage and high humanness, and high courage and high humanness. There might be different kind of people. Okay, there might be people who are autocratic, there are people who are democratic, they are very secular also, they are very courageous also, they are very emotional also, everything. But that doesn't mean you should not have a balance of everything. There has to be a balance of everything, because balance of everything leads to a good leadership as well. When you see actually a low performer or a low courageous people, but highly emotional people, okay, how can you identify that? That quadrant comes into people pleasers. They want to please everybody, and they want to take everything personally. They are afraid of any kind of a conflict, and for everything they seek validation to it, approvals of others. So that kind of an attitude. So they are, look, people who are confident, less of confident, but they want to show to the other person that how emotional they are to others, and they listen to everybody. So they are also very dangerous people. Okay. Second is the low courage and the low humanness. They have nothing at all. They will, they are the toxic people. They actually are red mark to the organization. They will not talk good about themselves. They will not talk about the organization. They will, actually ask people to go leave. They will not upskill themselves, nothing at all. They will just have toxicity in the organization. Then we have high courage and low humanness. They are very overconfident people. They will, they will not communicate. They will not kind of believe in everybody. They will not believe in the team building also. They only believe in themselves. So there is the lack of humanness is there. The ideal kind of a leadership is that when you have courage and humanness both. So courageous with a balance of warmth, nothing but relationship building. So relationship building on trust. So the people around or the management or the team are nothing but not executives or not the people who are like, they are juniors. Not like that. They are like a team person. They are like partners. They are building a team with me. So that kind of an attitude has to be there. Okay. Now, when again, how can we build that kind of a leadership with courage and humanness is very simple. We have already discussed this, but I'm reiterating again. You need to again develop people, develop each and everybody. It's not necessary that you have certain skills so you can be ahead of it. If you give your skills to somebody else and teach them and develop them, it will be highly recognized. Okay. At each point of time, there has to be care. Be the source of inspiration always. Listening skills has to be activated. Be present in the moment. That it means that if the person is there, maybe the person is the juniorest of the profile, but be present over there and listen to that person. And then encourage the courage. Okay, any kind of a courageous movement that is there in the understanding, then please do perform that. Promote authenticity. Do not just go with the that, like we say that it is not authenticity. Why? How do we elaborate that? Authenticity is nothing but when we talk about any kind of an for example recruitment part of it. Okay, when you get any kind of a reference, but the executive or the person or the team is much better than the other the reference at all. So just because to have that kind of a reference in your organization, don't ignore the person who is much capable of that. So promote authenticity. Then be passionate about the team, walk the talk, lead with emotional intelligence, again the humanness part of it. Display competence. Again, all these qualities are very important in a leadership, right? Now, again, gone the
Yeah, Ms. Navina, sorry for the interruption again. I'll just launch a quick poll before we go to the next slide. So, audience, request all of you to check your chat. So, there's a link that has been pasted right now by me. Now, this is a live poll that's running on LinkedIn, on the WebSol LinkedIn page. So, I request all of you to quickly go there and enter your input. It will probably take 10-15 seconds and then come back to the screen so that we can go ahead with the webinar. Now, let me read the question anyway. Now, which aspect of organizational transformation do you find most challenging to address through a mindset shift? Is it leadership? Is it team collaboration, change management, or innovation? I'll leave this. Let's give them all about 10-15 seconds and we can get back to the slides. Okay, there's about 7 votes there. All right. So the ones who are still attempting the poll, I think you can attempt and come back. Okay, there's about 15 now, which is a decent number. So I will hand it over to Ms. Navina. I'll go to the next slide, ma'am.
yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I talk about the the leadership, gone are the days when a leader is called as a boss, because now boss is not a positive term. Boss is more of a kind of a person who is very autocratic, okay, and authoritative. So a person who is like only considered as somebody not emotional. So boss is nothing. But that's what majorly we need to have kind of a perseverance, is that we need to exercise ourselves in terms of becoming a leader rather than becoming a boss. Now, there are certain, differences that I have mentioned over here. Boss focuses on results, but a leader focuses on people. So people building is more, important because people will make you achieve those results. And then boss controls and micromanages, while a leader trusts and empowers. This is a major underlying thing these days they have. Okay. A boss demands respect, while a leader earns it. A boss criticizes mistakes, which a leader uses them as opportunities for growth. A boss takes credit for success while a leader shares it with the team. Again, a very highlighted thing. Okay, it is very important to, have enjoyment and congratulate yourself with along with the team itself. Now, it is all about creating a positive environment. And, a positive environment always feels like, you need to feel yourself and position yourself there. If you're valued, if you're respectful, if you're human, if you're showing, if the other person is showing humanness to you, if you're showing the courageous to you, if you're motivated, entire thing is there, then you feel, yourself to work ahead, work more and build a team and then stick to the organization. So similarly, you need to empower all these qualities within the team. And once we do that, automatically all the issues of an organization works. Then it becomes a very, minutest differences that it becomes very data oriented, issues that we need to manage. So as I said, the mindset shift has to be nothing but that is, beyond growth. Okay. So when I say the beyond growth is nothing that, we believe that we are capable of working hard, increase our potential, increase our intelligence, and, we want to actually grow ahead and empower ahead. Right. And when we have that boss attitude which says that, okay, I know everything, I am experienced enough, I have known everything, that means that you are not, okay to even move a step ahead as well. You become arrogant to yourself again. Right. Now, how to actually handle the given, the feedbacks, probably how to manage the team, because obviously when we are talking about the management of a team, it is not that easy. So it is very easy to manage, or probably we can be comfortable in managing. How can we do that? Okay. Small appreciations within the team. Great job. Or probably a good mail, probably a good scale during the discussion itself. There is a point that has been discussed. So that can be also there. Small appreciations to it. Unexpected appreciation, a person who is actually from the team who is coming, and even if you can hand over your pen to that person that, okay, you did this good job, this is for you, it will be highly motivated. Okay, it will be, this pen would be of 2 rupees or a 5 rupees, but this will be highly cherished, and it will be a self motivation thing. Always look at a sandwich approach. And what is a sandwich approach? If a person in the front is actually did a mistake, okay, that doesn't mean you need to only concentrate on the mistake, and you want to make a change in that mistake. So first, talk about the conversation should be first talking about good things, the good thing, good attitude. Then in between, talk what was the mistake, what was the issue, how it can be changed, and then talk about that what, because of these good things you can change this. So it is a sandwich approach. So good thing in middle, the issue and the problems can be approached. There can be a M2M, that is the man-to-man approach. What is this man-to-man? Publicly never get feedback. It has to be one-on-one. Approach has to be done. Team recognition, but the recognition has to be in group, right? Switch captain. Now, what is switch captain? When you are working on a projects or trainings or programs or anything, you might have certain favorite people, you might have certain good people, but if you don't give an opportunity to other people, you will not understand what is the skill. So to understand what is the skill, you need to make a project manager, a project under, holding, and give them to each person. So for example, I'll give you an example, like in my organization, we have different conferences, we have certain events. So what I basically do is, like, for every conference and every event, I would appoint a person who will be coordinating. So I understand, okay, this is the person, and because of that leadership quality, because I I make the person enact like a leader and coordinate for the event. So I understand what is the quality, and it is very, it is very easy to understand what the person is, good at and what the person has to work upon. So it is very easy for me to actually give them the feedback and actually work upon it, right? So this has been the major understanding of it, right? Now, in the end, I would only say that a leader is at his best when his team says, "We did it," after the work is done, not that I did it. So the I has to be converted into we, which is very, 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 very important, right? And when we actually change this shift system, it would be very, action based, and it would be desired based itself. Now, when we talk about priorities of 2024, see, for future of HR, if I have to say, in this year, lot of technologies, lot of understandings, lot of management, lot of things have been discussed. But the good thing is that the HR department or the HR mindset has, very transformations have been taken place. So earlier, HR has been only administrative. They used to handle only administrative tasks and everything. But today, if you see, there are roles which is matching up to strategic business partners. Like for me, when I started my career, it was only operations and administration. And then it would, increase up to a recruitment level and the manager. So it would call it as a generalist profile. But today, the opportunities are such that you can actually sit with the management team, be a person who is actually a decision maker for the organizational growth. Okay. Now, what are the developments that would be there? First is the embracing technology. Now, automation or artificial intelligence or machine learning, all these things we should not be scared of. Okay, there is a saying that these machines or probably these automations will replace human resource, but actually it will be taken as a positive sense because this will streamline the HR processes. How? By freeing up time for HR professionals to focus on strategic initiatives. Tools like, applicant tracking systems, chatbots for employee inquiries, productive analytics for workforce planning. So it becomes, increasing in efficiency and accuracy in HR operations. So basically, the technology is helping us to be effective. So we are able to make better decisions based on that. Then the data-driven decision making. Now, how is it again important is that because of the analytics, okay, when we are actually making a decision, it should be based on some data, based on some analysis. And because this data analysis and everything is there, so we can identify what are the patterns and what is the anticipated future trends. So what is it required, whether it is the succession planning is required, any recruitment is required, or any kind of a talent management is required, or any kind of skill upgradation is required. It all the data will talk about. So the entire, shift has to be from, understanding humanness part of it to a data driven decision making, right? So again, it is a balance of everything. Now, the third thing is the agile workforce and gig economy. Agile for workforce is like, when we talk about due to the emerging trends of, like freelancing or flexible working hours, now HR needs to adopt technology for effective collaboration. And when I say that effective collaboration, it is because the communication should be across the globe, across the geography. Okay, so when the gig economy is enhancing towards it, obviously that kind of a adaptation has to be there. So that flexibility is there. Now, because we are leveraging these technology towards it, so we are able to actually develop strategies accordingly. Okay, focus on employee experience. Again, with the use of technology, communication will become effective, which is like almost leading to a positive, engaging work environment that fosters employee satisfaction, productivity, and well-being. Okay, so based on these datas and understandings, everything, the focus will be more on the experiences part and the training part of it, right? Again, the skill development and listening, the learning part of it also depends on all those things. So identifying these gaps, designing relevant training programs, again, depends on all these, understanding on everything. Now, when we are focusing on the diversity, equity, and inclusion, the word is known as DEI. The short form is known as the DEI. Now, the initiative says that creating inclusive workplaces, we have uh, uh, when we talk about team building, as I talked about that, how to build a team, when we have that kind of a diversity and that kind of equity and inclusion and everything, we are able to retain such kind of people, and especially in the high lifelong people, okay, wherein people are there for like almost at least for 10 years in the organization, giving their kind of skills, right? Fourth, like last part that I mentioned was HR as strategic business matter, and that is the best part of the HR field. Any person who is looking at a forward-looking, career-looking thing, they can adapt towards the strategic partnership, which is like driving the organization sales, shaping a company culture, making policies, understanding them, bringing out innovation, and upskilling yourself, and then upskilling the organization as well. So it is nothing but, in conclusion, I would say that if technology is embraced, and when we have a data-driven decision making and focusing, so we have a very, very pivotal role in having creating that balance between the organizational values, organization strategy, vision, and the emotional point of view of the company or the employee as well, right? So this is what I had to talk about in this presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, audience, as I mentioned, we will get into we'll have about 5 to 10 minutes of QA. If there's any questions, we'll be more than happy to take that up. Now, I will move to the next slide and leave the Q&A open. But as I wait for a few queries, I would like to launch one poll that is in relation to the previous slide in terms of the potential trends for 2024 in terms of HR. Now, I'm talking only in terms of HR tech over here. So which HR technology trend do you find most intriguing for its potential impact on HR practices? Is it AI, employee engagement platforms, people analytics, or cloud-based HR systems? I'll leave this poll on for the next 1 minute. Now, please note that this is a multiple choice, so you can choose multiple options as well. And let me just check if there's any queries. Okay, there is one query on chat for you, ma'am, from Ms. Rini. How can one move from HR generalist role to a HR business partner role? So just a heads up, ma'am, you will have some generic queries also that may come to you. So yeah, we'll have about 5 minutes or somewhere around that for just the queries. That's okay with you.
Yeah, yeah. So, really good. I can see that you want to get into some kind of a career path. So, there is no, the rules to it, but I can share my experience. So, as I said, that I shifted from a generalist profile to a strategic business partner role. So, it is again, what kind of a projects you are handling. So, in the beginning itself, I was in the HR profile for a long time, but with experiences, I understood what exactly is required in the HR department. So I got into a lot of projects. Got into the various working culture and everything part of it. And slowly, when I got into the upskilling and upgraded myself, attended a lot of trainings, understood it, we got into I was a part of a lot of discussions and everything. I got into such kind of a, and that there I understood, okay, this is how things work. So with experience you will get to know, but I would say as of now, get into whatever projects you can. Just don't restrict yourself to one or two projects or only particular thing. Just get into anything, so your decision making power and then the analysis part will increase. So with that the kind of understanding to the HR business perspective, that would be clear.
Okay. Hope that
I-
answers your question, Ms. Rini. Great. Okay. There's one question from Mr. Prakash. I think it need not be very elaborate, ma'am. If you'd like to answer that, you can go ahead. Need to
Need to
understand.
understand, yeah, I can read that. Need to understand the role of HRBP. That probably would take another session for me.
Right. So, Mr. Prakash, I think you'll have to park that question.
Yeah.
All right. On a side note, audience, if there's anyone who'd like to directly interact with Ms. Navina instead of having to type it here, I will be able to allow that. So you just have to either raise your hand or just give me a yes or no in chat. I'll be able to enable you to talk directly. If there's anyone that's interested to interact with Ms. Navina and ask any sort of HR-based query, or if it's a topic itself, you can use the raise your hand option or give me a yes or no on chat. Okay, we still have a fair number of audience that is still with us at the moment. Is anyone interested?
So that my presentation was really good. They don't have any queries.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The audience looks like there is no queries at all. Well, this I will take this as a positive sign in reference to Navina ma'am's comments. So on that note, if there's no further queries, I think we can call it a day, and I will close the presentation. Audience, I hope there's no queries. And those of you who are interested in the demo of our platform, my team will reach out to you shortly in the next 1 or 2 working days. And you can also expect a post-webinar mailer with the stream link and the presentation in PDF as well. So those of you who'd like to recap on the presentation will be able to do that as well. So on that note, I'd also like to thank our speaker, Ms. Navina, for yet another insightful presentation. Thank you so much for your time and efforts, ma'am. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, audience. Thank you, Siddharth.
Thank you all and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.